So with the launch of the Planet Zoo Eurasia Animal Pack and not all animals really fitting our Eco Island Park, and with only space for a few more habitats in our tropical franchise mode series, it's about time we're going to finish this series. So in today's episode, we are going to add the mute swan and the wild boar to our Asian area. Hey everyone, my name is DeLadysigner, and today we're back with another tropical franchise mode episode. If you enjoyed this series, then make sure to leave a like this video and leave something nice in the comments down below. And as you can tell right now, we are going to finish this series a little bit differently. With only space for a few more animals and our money balance being above $500,000 for a few episodes now, I feel like it's time to let go a little bit of the management part of the zoo and really focus on building the last few habitats and filling up the last bits and pieces so we can actually wrap up this series before the end of the year and start something fresh and new. So I obviously hope you guys are excited to see me finish this series soon. So we're jumping right away into the speedboat part here, including some commentary for a change. So as I said, we are going to add the mute swan and the wild boar in this episode, and I actually couldn't think of any other place for their habitat than right here next to the Indian elephants, as the mute swan and the wild boar are not only found in Europe but also in Asia, and this is the only area of the zoo with a bigger water area. I thought this honestly was just a win-win situation. Like, I know that I've mentioned earlier during the series we would be adding the orangutans in the zoo as well, but since we recently added them in our Eco Island Park, I really don't mind skipping that idea completely now. So this will be the last habitat in general for our Asian area in our zoo, and I think after finishing this area, we only have a little open spot at the Gibbon habitat to still fill in, but other than that, this area will be completely finished. So when we will do the habitat tour at the end of this video, I will make sure to show you guys the rest of the zoo, what areas are still left to fill in before we are really able to wrap up this series, so definitely stay tuned for that. Now, it was a little bit of a struggle to get water in this area, and I wasn't entirely sure what happened here, but I really just wasn't able to make the water body bigger that was on the opposite side of the Indian elephant's habitat. Like, for some reason, I just kept getting like obstructions and errors, and it was so freaking frustrating. So I in the end decided to simply create another water area and use the open space in between to just simply add a small keeper's gate, I guess. Now, I did want to make sure that this habitat would fit in nicely in the area, which feels very connected to the Indian elephant habitat due to how the layout of the water is and like the path going through the water, or like in between the water, I should say. So we did use the same fences here for the edge of the habitat, and later on we will also be using some of the same rock formations that we created, especially for the Indian elephant habitat. I think I've never ever used a rock formation like that, and I don't know, this whole area just feels like we should be using those rocks a little bit more to make everything blend in more nicely. Now, the backside of the habitat, I wanted to keep as natural as possible. So we are adding some tree trunks here as a little wall, and then on top of that, we will be adding like a lot of different tropical foliage. And to make sure the animals won't be able to escape, we will lower an electric fence inside of this foliage so you won't see it, but just to make sure that the animals will stay in their habitat, of course. Now, as I obviously wanted to create a bit of a pond feeling here as well for the beautiful mute swans, which are now officially my most favorite animal of the pack, we are going to use a lot of the reeds around the water here. And with these reeds, we can also create like this nice natural wall, almost where the guest can like look through or peek through on one side of the habitat to look inside of the habitat. I don't know, I just really love that natural vibe it gives when looking into the habitat. And to top it off, we are going to use a lot of the water lilies throughout the whole habitat for that extra pond vibe feeling. Like, even though it's not really a pond, you guys get the idea, right? Like, I really love the look of these water lilies in the water so much, together with like the pink flowers. They give like this extra nice contrast to the habitat as well, and a little bit more color. So when most of the reed and the water lilies were in in place, I started to add a lot of the aquatic rocks around the habitat, and especially around the water, as they give like this extra touch of realism to the whole area, in my opinion. Like, I did cut out most of the rock placement of this speed build because clearly you guys know by now how I place my small rocks, right? So the backside of the habitat will, as I said, be covered with a lot of nature. So this will be a combination of like those flatter plants that cover your flooring so nicely. Like, I don't know the name of them exactly. It's like scaeolia or something like that. Like, I always type in the SCA and then I already find them. So I just always forget to read the whole name. And we will also be using more of the big tropical trees we have around the zoo, some bamboo, and the trees with, of course, the orange flowers we use a lot to get like this more colorful contrast. And we will also be using some smaller palm trees around the habitat, but nothing like special or new, just the same type of plants and trees we're always using in this zoo. So for the shelter building, I chose for a more simple concrete variation, which won't be visible for the guests. So this will be a nice area for the animals to chill and relax and to not become like too stressed from all the noisy guests. Although I don't really think that these animals will become super stressed that fast. Like, I just like the idea a little bit that they are able to go there for a little bit more privacy. So the shelter will be covered with some rocks and plants as well on the edges. So it will just simply blend in super nicely for the So it will just blend in super nicely into the habitat and just create this little privacy area for the animals. Now, I had my doubts at first if I wanted to use the mud pool for the wild boar, but as we just did like a really cool muddy area for the black rhino in our Eco Island Park, I felt like I wanted to skip that for now in this habitat. Like, in all honesty, these wild boars also do a roll on the terrain when you just see like the sand blowing up and stuff. So we will pretty much see some rolling animations anyway. So without the need to add a mud pool. So I'm actually totally fine by that. But I did hide the forage box feeder in the terrain a little bit though, like because that one just blends in super nicely with the color of the terrain. So yeah, I just really do love that. So they do have the forage box feeder to play in and to feed from. Now, there isn't really anything special for the mute swans, although they are able to use that little water pool and like beaver enrichment item, but I am assuming there are like no special animations to it other than like swimming in it. But I have to admit that I didn't check that, so I don't dare to say that for sure. But yeah, you won't see it in the speed build, but I also did add some rocks here and there in the water with some hay beddings on top of it, which makes it feel like more of like these nesting spots for the mute swan. Like, I don't know, it's just an extra touch of realism here, I guess. I just really like doing that for some reason a lot for the birds that we are adding lately in Planet Zoo. So yeah, we just continue doing what we love to do, right? So when it was pretty much done with all the foliage work in the habitat, it was time to finish the Indian elephant habitat because this backside area wasn't entirely finished just yet. So we have this round-shaped pink wall connected to the shelter building of the Indian elephants, which had to be finished first. And in all honesty, I wasn't really looking forward to this until I realized I was actually able to hide the plaster pieces in the wall of the bigger building. So it actually didn't even take that long to create the roof here. And when I had the roof in place, all I had to do was delete some walls of the bigger buildings to open up the area more, and then remove a few plaster pieces of the round pink wall to add some glass panels in there. I was actually so happy to see how easy it was to open up this area, and the corner of the round pink walls are now really nicely filled in with some elephant statues, which I'm sure like kids would love to play with as well when they're walking around here, and to see how big or how small they are when standing next to these elephant statues. So I think that's just a really nice extra touch to the whole area. And then the last thing I had to do was adding a few decals here and there to give the building a little bit more of an older vibe. And then we were done. So now, without further talking, let's jump right into the file and let me show you guys around. Here we go. So I couldn't help myself. I just love this area so much. I don't know what it is, like those thick fences and stuff. So yeah, we are just going to start the end tour of the habitat right over here. And I did do something here, which actually was, I had a little bit of a different idea. You can see a swan in here. But okay, I will get back to that in a bit. But I just really love this area so much. So now I did fill up this area right over here as well. So only, well, okay, I can forgive you trying to peek through here, I guess. So yeah, this is all now nicely filled up and neat. And then we get here to the back side of the Indian elephant habitat, which I will show in a bit. And then we have the mute swan and the wild boar habitat here. I just really like these little peaks in here. So you can really look into the habitat in a more natural way, I guess. This is exactly the height or the eye level of our guests. So yeah, this is how they will be seeing it. We have some little nests here of the mute swan. There should be some babies in here. I did let the game run for a little bit to make sure that we have some babies in here right now. So I hope we will see them. I do hear them, but I have no idea where they exactly are. But yeah, it's a very natural habitat here. As I said, trying to get a little bit of a pond feeling because, wow, I think the mute swan just looks so gorgeous and it deserves nothing more than a gorgeous habitat. So we're just going to continue. Oh, it's going to rain here? Oh, wow, that's all right. Okay, let me just show the backside here of the elephant habitat. So this is a shelter building. Oh, wait, oopsie. Wait, can I just move you up here? Is that going to work? Ah, there we go. So it was so easy to make this. I really always thought like, oh, this is going to be hell, but it was really not that bad. Love the statues here on the edge. I don't know, it just works super well to finish this area, but there are no elephants here, so clearly the guests are not looking into this habitat. But look how awesome this looks with the mist when it rains. Oh man, the ambiance of this game is so fantastic. So okay, the guest, I do like it, by the way, that we now have a guest flow here because there were barely any guests walking on this side. So yeah, now we finally have some more guests. Why do I keep hearing? I don't know what it is, where they are. I hear the babies. So yeah, the idea was with the swans near their habitat that realistically this might not keep them like in their habitat. So yeah, some swans were a little bit like naughty and they just decided to go and live in the other habitat. That was a little bit of the idea. So there's one couple that was like, no, I don't like this habitat. We're going to live in the other habitat. So I was actually secretly hoping that one of the swans or two of them would be swimming here and I would be like, oh, look at that. Naughty, naughty swans. But okay, well, you get the idea, right? I just love that idea, I guess. So here we have the other side of the habitat. So this will be more on eye level of the guests. So when the swans will be swimming, they will pretty much see the water level here. Wasn't able to change anything here, as I said in the speed build. Like I wanted to, but there was just no way for me to change the water or whatsoever. So we just have to live with this. But it does look super beautiful, and I like it that even though the rocks like still combine the theme of the habitat here, it is their own habitat. So we have more of like this pond feeling with the reeds and stuff. But I on purpose did not add that right over here because I still feel like this doesn't really fit too much of the Indian elephant habitat. So they are still different, but they are connected with the rocks, I guess. So yeah, guests can walk all the way through the water right over here, have a glimpse of the elephants if they're swimming, or the mute swans if they're here, or of course the wild boar, because the wild boar is also enjoying the water a lot here. Hello, gorgeous. Okay, let me just have a look at you. I don't know about you guys, but the mute swan surprised me so much with this pack. It's so gorgeous for an animal that I had an idea like, wait, why are we getting a mute swan? Like, okay, yes, it's clear to me now that there are a lot of zoos that actually have the mute swan as an exhibit animal. I only know them from the wild, so I've never seen them in a zoo, at least not that I was aware of, or then I was feeling like, oh look, they have swans here as well, they just live here, if you know what I mean. Man, I just so much love them. They're so beautiful. They're so well made. Their noises are so adorable. And where are the little ones? I mean, I heard them a lot, but I've just not seen them at all. Oh, well, we have you. Hi, cutie. Oh, they have such a happy face. Like the wild boar. I'm not surprised about that. We did a poll on the community wall. What is like your most favorite animal? What are you looking forward to the most? And not like a limit of what animals could be picked. And yeah, the wild boar was, I think, on the last spot, but it didn't really surprise me. Like, I guess with also the anniversary update being the colored peccary, I can imagine that people are not maybe super excited about these guys, but nonetheless, they look super cute. And I thought combining them with the mute swan, because they do have this enrichment bonus, was just a perfect idea to do. So if so we don't have to build another oh, there you are. Oh, please let it stop raining. Look at this cutie. Gonna put my light torch on for a little bit. You're so adorable. I just love how they wiggle around on your map as well. And the noises. It's such adorable, squeaky noise that they make. Oh man, this is so fantastic. And I do have the feeling, but I could be wrong, but I mostly see these animals walking together. So it's not like there's a baby here, there's a baby there, there's a baby here. I always have the feeling that they really do stay together now, even though I know that that should be in the game for a long time. I don't know, for some reason I just barely notice it that much. I don't know, like the piglets here are not per se always together, I think. I don't know, actually. I don't know with how many they are. Oh yeah, we should obviously also check out the wild boar here. But yeah, I don't know. I just noticed it that these little ones are always together. But maybe it's just a coincidence. That could also be. I do like how the wild boar is looking. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's a fantastic looking animal. They did the fur. They feel so realistic. Man, they're incredible. They're really looking good. But yeah, they're not going to win from my warthogs, obviously. And then over here, we obviously have a little shelter building, as I said, just for a little bit of fun. Look at that wiggle. Did you see that? It's so cute. But yeah, just to give them a little bit of privacy. I mean, there can be a lot of guests here standing and walking, making a lot of noise maybe. So I can imagine. Are you going to play with that box? These, the wild boars do really love the box. Also, when I was recording the overview video, they were just obsessed with that box. And I love that. Like, it's so cute to see these animals being so excited about the carton box more than other animals. Or maybe they just changed something. I don't know. But yeah, definitely a really beautiful habitat here. Just very natural. And I think it works super well for these beautiful swans right over here. Oh, that's a pity that they're slightly swimming through each other. But you get the idea, right? Okay, let me just show the zoo from the top here, because as I said, oh goodness. Okay, wait, let me just wait until the rain is gone, because this is so hard to see. There we go. That's a lot better and easier to see. So here we have the elephant habitat going all the way from here, and then here we have the mute swan and the wild boar. So this is the entrance right over here. And then we have this whole canvas. And I actually must say, FPS-wise, we definitely should not expand too much. Do I need to say more? Too much on this zoo. So we have the South American area. We have one more habitat or area left for the South America area. We have, let's see, because we have Monkey World right over here. yeah, okay, this is pretty much done. So we have the bonobos, the chimpanzees, and the gorillas, one of my most favorite areas here of the zoo. So we pretty much only have this spot left for 1 or 2 African animals. I'm not entirely sure yet which one. Maybe extended to here, depending on what kind of animal we're going to add. And this area is the last bit we were working on the Oceania. What's it again? The Oceania Nocturnal House. So we have the kiwi in here. We have a platypus habitat, which, man, is so cool. Still love this area so much. Especially this outdoor area. Look at that little platypus. And then on this side, we have some exhibits. And then the underwater viewing. And then on this side, the kiwi habitat. So all we need to do is add the Tasmanian devil in here, because that was the plan. And I'm definitely... I still want to add them. They are such cool animals. Also, like, one of those animals I never thought I would love so much until I had them in the game. So yeah, 1 Australian animal, 1 South American animal, and 1 or 2 African animals, and then we're done. We're going to finish it, and I want to finish it before the end of the year, and then we are able to start something fresh and new in the next year. So that is definitely going to be very exciting. So let me just hop back here to the mutant swan again, because I just can't get enough of these guys. Oh, they're so freaking amazing. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts about this habitat for the mute swan and the wild boar. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Yeah, I just hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, guys!